Hello everyone, bringing you a video today talking about this. Now this is a New Zealand issue DPM shirt. As you can see, it's not what you might typically expect of a combat shirt. It's more similar to, say, the British GS shirt in terms of the design. It is a very simple garment, so I don't think this will be a particularly long video talking about this, but nevertheless I thought it would be interesting to take a look at it. My understanding is these were introduced in the very late 1980s, early 1990s. Any clarification on the date of introduction of these would be much appreciated. If someone can nail that down for me, I'd be very interested to know. I really like the DPM print on these shirts and the trousers which were made at the same sort of time period. It's similar to the earlier versions of British DPM. You get the bleed over between the colours, so the tan bleeds over into the green and the black bleeds over into the brown and so forth. Just the print itself, just purely from a collecting point of view, I rather like it. So just an interesting element of New Zealand DPM there. It is very closely based on British DPM, of course. The shirt itself is very simple, as already mentioned. We have a simple collar here, really designed to be worn open. And you can see it's been pressed open here. This is really how the shirt is designed to be worn. You have two patch pockets on the front here, as you can see, very simple again. And these close with a simple pointed pocket flap, as you can see. And it closes with buttons down the front. And these are fairly typical shirt buttons, very small two-hole buttons in a sort of pearlescent plastic, as you can see here. Get a quick close-up of those now, just to show you that detail. There's not a huge amount more to see at the front here. We will of course be turning this around and having a look at the other details and turning it inside out, have a look at the label as well. So we'll start doing that now. We'll turn this around and have a look at the right hand side. Looking at the right hand side, if I lift the collar out of the way here, you can see the epaulette up on the shoulder there. Again, secured with one of these small two-hole buttons up there, as you can see. We do have a button under the collar here, so it can be closed right up. There's a corresponding buttonhole on the other side. The arm is very plain. There are no arm pockets. There's no elbow reinforcement here, as you can see. Down here, the cuff is very, very simple. Just a single button cuff there. If I open this up, no gusset or anything. Just a basic shirt cuff, basically, as you can see. So all very simple in terms of design. We'll move this round now and have a look at the back. Looking at the back here, you can see we do have a yoke over the shoulders here, stitched in. You can see that there, hopefully. The DPM cloth sort of accentuates that a little bit where the camouflage changes. We do have that stitched in there, as you can see. Otherwise, again, very plain. The seams, the side are under the arms. We'll see that more clearly when we turn this inside out, which is what we're going to do now. There's no real point looking at the left-hand side. It is just a mirror image of the right-hand side, which we've already looked at. So we'll turn this inside out now and have a look at the internal details, the label, and so forth. With this turned inside out, we can see how the print has bled through to the inside face of the cloth here. It's quite distinctive, obviously particularly clear around the edges where the colours overlap. And you have the stitching here for the two chest pockets there, and you can see the cloth doubled over at the front here where the buttons attach and also where the buttonholes have been worked in down the front there. Fairly typical construction really. So that's the front of this turned inside out. Not a huge amount more to see here. We'll start moving this around and have a look at the other details, and we'll get round to the label at the back as well. Looking at the right hand side of this turned inside out, this of course would be the left arm if this was worn the right way out. We lift the collar out of the way here. You can see the shoulder seam coming down here and the seam where the sleeve attaches on. We have the stitching for the button up on the shoulder there to secure the epaulette. If we lift this up, you can see the seam detail down the side there and down the back of the sleeve as well, showing you the details of the construction there. That's the right hand side of this turned inside out. Again, not a huge amount more to see here. It is a very simple garment indeed. We'll turn this around now and have a look at the back, and we'll have a look at the label as well. Looking at the back here, you can see the stitching for the section of cloth from the yoke over the shoulders there. Otherwise, again, very plain, but a nice example of exactly how the print bleeds through the cloth there, as you can see, particularly noticeable where the colours overlap. And at the bottom hem here, you can see how that's just been turned over on itself to hem the bottom of the shirt there, as you can see. The label is up in the collar here. It doesn't provide a huge amount of information, but we will get a close-up of this now, just for completeness sake. We'll have a look at that in detail. The label is quite typical of New Zealand Army clothing. It has defence property at the top there, as you can see, and then the manufacturer is McGrath Manufacturing Company beneath that. Size 39 centimetres, and of course there is a place to write in the name and number. It's just interesting to see how the colours from the DPM have actually bled onto this label, so clearly not entirely colour fast, something I need to be aware of going forward. But you can just see that, the sort of discoloration of the label from the actual camouflage colours of the DPM print. So hopefully you found it interesting looking at this. As I say, not a long video, and this is a very simple shirt to talk about really, But hopefully it's nevertheless been interesting looking at this. There's not a huge amount online about New Zealand kit, certainly from this sort of late Cold War time period. So it's something I'd like to add to on the channel. As I say, if anyone can help in filling in the blanks, that's always greatly appreciated. If you've enjoyed watching this video and enjoyed looking at this and you'd like to see more from the channel, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address in the description as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.